So I want to chat with you today about one little way, one little tweak that can improve your health and wellness that no one is talking about. Hey, Dr. D here with AlphaOmegaWellness.com. And today I just want to share with you one little tweak that you could make starting today that could literally change the trajectory of your health and wellness. And it's not what anyone out there is actually talking about, because this speaks to the spiritual side of ourselves. And no one's talking about that. But here's a quote from Proverbs. It's Proverbs 16:24. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Gracious words. So, a lot of times in Christian circles, we talk about how we're speaking to other people. In fact, James, Jesus' brother, said that the tongue is a fire, set on fire by hell itself, right? We can either build people up with it or we can destroy them with it. And we use that, we think about that in terms of how I'm talking to other people. But sometimes that comes from behind my facade of how I want to appear. So of course I'm going to say nice words to people because I want to be known as a nice guy. But let's talk for a minute about the words that we say to ourselves and how that actually impacts our lives. You see, I have had multiple things throughout my life in which I spoke deficiency to myself. I mean, an easy one to come up with is, I'm just not a morning person. I'll tell you, I'm more of a night owl, not a morning person. And then I read a book called The Miracle Morning by a guy named Hal Elrod. It's not a faith-based book, but he talks about how he wasn't a morning person either, and yet he forced himself to get up like an hour early in the morning so he could go through these 6 different disciplines to start his day. And I started doing that. And you know what? Now that I don't tell myself anymore that I'm not a morning person, I'm a morning person. Like, I love getting up early. I love beating the sun up. I love slaying the day, starting at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And so these words that we speak to ourselves have huge impact, and we don't even realize it. We are programming our subconscious by what we say. Now, sometimes these words come from what we heard growing up. And I'll tell you, my dad was a great guy. He always told me jokingly that I couldn't sing. He'd say, "Hey, what'd you do with that money?" I'm like, "What money?" He goes, "The money I gave you for singing lessons." And while that's funny, it's also sticky. And so I've been taking music lessons for the last couple of years, learning to sing, and I'm just now starting to get to the point that I'm like, maybe what I've told myself for 50 years isn't actually true. Maybe I can carry a tune. And so I don't know what that is for you. I don't know what that looks like, but maybe you're telling yourself like, well, I'm just not healthy, or, I'm just tired. I'm just gonna be overweight. I try and nothing works. These words that you're saying to yourself dictate your future health. And your future self is either going to high five you for changing those right now, or your future self is going to look back and go, man, why did you tell me that for 20 years? Why did you tell me that? And so I want to just encourage you to pay attention to the words that you're telling yourself. Pay attention to the words that you're telling your family. You see, there's this concept in marriage counseling that I learned that what you look for is what you'll find. So if you want to look for deficiencies in your spouse, they're there. You married a broken human. But if you want to look for his or her strengths, they are also there. And the same is true for you. Stop telling yourself things that you would not allow other people to tell your children. Right? Do not be your biggest critic, but start loving yourself. For me, I think a lot of that comes from just having that identity as a child of God. That regardless of the mistakes that I've made in my past, and I've made them exponentially, regardless of the mistakes that I've made, regardless of where I've come from, I'm still a child of God. I still have a relationship with Jesus, and I have value. You see, you are an eternal spiritual being in God's great infinite universe. That's a paraphrased quote from Dallas Willard, but it's true. So you have value. You bring joy to people. You are a blessing. And so if you start telling yourself that, that literally changes your body chemistry. You want to talk about how to lower your cortisol level? We talk about that in other videos about how high cortisol, the stress hormone, is inflammatory. You want to lower that? Start speaking kindness to yourself. Start finding truth about yourself that you can rely on. Start having some mindfulness practice every day. Start having a gratitude list. Those things literally change how your DNA is expressed. You can change the trajectory of your health today just by that one thing, just by changing how you talk to yourself. Hey, listen, if this has been helpful for you, please click the like button. Please subscribe to this channel so I can keep bringing you videos every week where I walk out health and wellness with you. And if you're in the Indianapolis area and you want to find a physician who's not afraid to have conversations, not just about the physical, but also about the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, come visit us at AlphaOmegaWellness.com, because we want to be 360-degree wellness for you. We want to help you unpack whatever it is going on in your life. And I believe ultimately in this world, there's one healer, that's Jesus. And if you don't have a relationship with him, let me just encourage you to just look into that. Psalms 34:8 says, taste and see that the Lord is good. Let me just encourage you to do that. Start exploring that spiritual side of yourself, because it's amazing how once you get that part where it needs to be, once you get that foundation there, the physical, emotional, and mental can often follow that. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.